Hi, it's Drew here, and welcome to another episode of the Renegade Recruiter Unleashed. In this episode, basically what me and Terry have been doing over the past few weeks is we've been sort of going through some of our old products, our old members areas, and just get reorganising the content. And I came across this recording that we'd done maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It's called 7-Figure Search Firm Secrets. It's basically a sort of a series of habits, behaviours that we've picked up from some of our 7-figure clients, and we put it together as part of a program a while ago. And yeah, I thought you would find it useful, thought it would make a good podcast, so here it is.
Warning, the Renegade Recruiter is not for the soft, timid, or faint-hearted. If you need permission or seek approval from your mother, spouse, mates in the pub, or anyone else for that matter, this really isn't for you. If any of what you've heard puts you off in the slightest, I advise you not to listen any further. You've been warned. Prepare yourself for the no bullshit, zero fluff. Quick, dirty, and uncensored secrets for any serious recruitment, staffing, and search business owner who wants to earn more money with less work and fewer headaches, without having to kiss ass or bend over backwards to please anyone. He's a relentless and fearless renegade who will stop at nothing to reveal the harsh, unforgiving, and brutal truth about what it really takes to succeed in this business. He's a guy people love to hate and hate to love. It's your host, Terry Edwards. The Renegade Recruiter is unleashed.
Hello. This is Terry Edwards, and welcome to this session on 7 secrets to 7-figure search firms. And of course, we're joined by our co-host. How are you, Drew?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Cheer up a bit, mate. It's not that bad. Seriously, guys, before we get started, just to make sure that everything's working, can you just post your name in so I know who's here and the fact that you can hear me? So if you can just put your name in this discussion there, that would be great, so I can see who's here, and I can give you a shout as well. So yeah, just post your name in there. That would be great.
So in the chat box on the right hand side.
Yeah. Hi, Kieran. First name in. Hi, Michelle. Felicity. Graham. Hi, Graham. Neil. Hi, is that Neil? Neil, is that the Neil that I spoke to about an hour ago? Hope it is. Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, Neil. Excellent. Well, listen, thank you very much for that, and welcome to everybody else as well. Pierre. Oh, hi, Pierre. Ed. Angela. Fantastic. Excellent. So excuse me. Some familiar face. Excuse me. I'm just going to have a. Excuse me. Sorry. Excuse me, sorry about that. I just find if you drink whiskey just after lunch and it goes down the wrong way, it really isn't good. I jest, of course. I'm not drinking whiskey. It's just as tempting as it is. But welcome. So welcome to this. And remember, this is a live call. You've got any questions, please feel free to ask. I always say this, there's no such thing as a silly question, just a silly person not asking the question. So please, any questions, just fire away. Drew, can I make you responsible for taking the questions, please?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Ezda said, sounds like Hillary.
Sorry, Drew?
So Ezda said, sounds like Hillary. And Michelle said, you sound like you need a whiskey.
Michelle, you're absolutely right. I don't understand the thing with Hillary, though. I don't understand that. Gio, honestly, I wasn't coughing. I was fine before this call, chatting away, and that one bottle of whiskey, that's all it took. Went down the wrong way. Excuse me. Anyway, I'm going to get on with it. So, yeah, as I said, any questions? But look, what we're going to be looking at today is really what we call... I think it's a name that Drew came up with, actually. It's called the psychology of wealth. I know that sounds a bit mumbo-jumbo, but one thing that we discovered with the really top billers and the really successful guys is that they just think differently. And there's a difference between a recruitment search firm owner who's struggling, or recruitment search firms, as a lot of them do, who never grow. If you talk to them, they say, I've always built this, and I've built this amount of money for the last 4, 5, 6, 10 years. And then there's another set who... they just smash it. There's no other word for it. They literally year after year they would look to double the business. And so the question we always ask is, what's the difference that made the difference? And anybody that knows Drew and I really well knows that we're fascinated to the point of almost obsession of really studying highly successful recruitment and search firm owners, highly successful businesses, by the way. And we talk to them, we interview them, and we always. But here's what we've discovered with the top pillars. Successful recruiters, they think differently. They've got this completely different psychology. They believe different things. They act differently. They have what we call a real strong why. So here's what we know. Here's one of the things that we know. If you talk to most recruitment and search firm owners, you say, what do you want for your business? They struggle to actually tell you specifically what they want. So if you said to me, why do they struggle? I'd say, they don't actually know what they want. So if I say to you, what do you want? Most recruitment owners will then say, well, I want more money, as an example. And I'll say, well, I'll tell you what, let me send you a pound in the post. You've got no more money. And they say, no, Terry, I want more than that. And I say, I get that, but how much more? Or they say, I really want to grow my business. Or they say, I don't want to struggle. Or they say, I just want to survive. The real top builders, one of the things they do, they're really absolutely certain. They've got this certainty about exactly where the business is going. They've got a really well-defined goal. And not only do they have that goal, they have what we call the why. They know why. So you say to them, they say, Terry, over the next 12 months, I'm going to double my sales I'm going to double my sales. And you say, why do you want to do that? And they give you strong, what we call whys. Because what we know is real top achievers, they have a strong enough why. Because as you embark on this journey, I've said this to many of you many a time, as we embark on this journey to the final destination, be it 500,000, 10 million, whatever it is for you, along the way, to put it bluntly, the shit's going to hit the fan. Stuff's going to happen. Clients are going to let you down. Candidates are going to let you down. Your consultant's going to leave you. I had a phone call only yesterday, client in tears because the top biller she just handed a notice in. These things happen. But those individuals with a strong enough why, they tend to have greater resilience because it's the why that drives them. Anything you want to add to that, Drew?
Yeah, I mean, when you say why, can you give us some examples of what it is you mean?
Yeah, good question. Great question, in fact. Some time ago, I was coaching a client who works within the media space, and one of his goals was to double his sales over an 18-month period. And I said, why do you want to do that? He said, well, for the money. He said, Terry, I want to buy a bigger house, I want to buy a bigger car. And I said, yeah, I get that. I said, but what would a bigger house and a bigger car get you? And he just went quiet. He said, well, honestly, Terry, he said, I'm going to tell you, but I'm kind of embarrassed to tell you. He said, part of it's recognition and status. Part of it is my own personal self-esteem. I said, and I get that. I said, and what else will he give you? And he said, the honest truth, Terry, those things are nice, but what I really want to do this for is my dad. My dad's 74 years old. He lives on his own. I want to do this for my dad. I want to provide for my dad in his, in the sort of winter of his life, so to speak. So he wants for nothing. He said, the more I think about this, and as I talk to you about this, Terry, that's my real why. Now, that's a powerful why, isn't it, Drew?
Yeah, it is. And I think, again, it's a great point there that I wanted you to get across, that when we talk about the why, what's the reason that you really want to hit your goal, whatever that is for you, it needs to be something more powerful than just more money. Because as Terry said, when the shit hits the fan, a lot of the time for most people, that's not going to be enough to actually keep you going. But when it's something a bit deeper, so again, the example Terry just used there was the guy wanted to provide for his dad. We've had clients who, for them, it was they wanted to provide for their children. I mean, we all sort of self-sabotage in our own different ways. We all let ourselves down, but it's a lot easier for us to let ourselves down than it is for us to let somebody else down. So for our kids, for example. So sometimes we don't want it bad enough for ourselves, whatever that is. We don't want it bad enough for ourselves, but we can find the strength and we can find the resilience to push through when actually it's for our kids or it's for our parents.
Yeah, Yeah, and I think that's a great example. So, and we will often say initially when you ask the why, that we often, all of us, myself included, we'll talk about the material things. But what psychologists have found is that those material things, let's say it's a house, a car, the holidays, the jewelry, whatever it is for you, they're not the real drivers. They're just symbols of what wealth means to you, but they're not the underlying drivers. And if you talk to a lot of sports people, they have really strong, what I call compelling whys as well, as to why they want to achieve. Look, I want to ask you a question. In fact, I want to ask you this question. I want you to answer it in the post box. Drew, can you answer? Can you just handle Pierre's question? Which is a great question, by the way, Pierre. Really good point there. We might even come back to it. But here's a question I want you to answer, and I just want you to post it so I just know. Who on this call wants to be a millionaire? Just say yes or no and just post in and let me know. And while you're doing that, in fact, sorry, Drew, I'll answer you, Pierre. And I kind of know, we spoke the other day. You're absolutely right. You really do need, Pierre said, sorry, let me do this better way. Pierre said it sounds like one needs to define their whys before anything else. Well, yes or no. What you have to define is what you want, what your goal is, and then why you want to achieve it. How that answers your question. So lots of people come in, everybody virtually saying, yes, I want to be a millionaire. Now I'm going to ask you another question, but don't post the answer to this question. I know the answer to this. Are you prepared to do whatever it takes, as long as it's legally and morally right to do so, to be a millionaire? Honestly, I said, don't answer that question. Because here's the thing. You ask any recruitment to search for millionaires, do you want to be a millionaire? And every single one would say yes. I've never done that exercise when somebody says, well, actually, Terry, no, I don't. Or actually, Terry, one guy, if you remember Richard, he went, well, actually, Terry, I'm not far off a millionaire now, which is great, by the way. So everybody you ask will say, yes, I do. You then say, okay, so you want to be a millionaire? And they go, yeah, honestly. And I said, well, here's the things that you need to do, that you're going to have to do. And sadly, majority, do you know what? 80% of people won't do what needs to be done for a number of reasons. We're going to kind of touch on some of those in a moment. Does that make sense, Drew?
Yeah, it does. I mean, again, you've done it on the call, but if you sort of asked in the room for the people who wants to be a millionaire, most people would put their hands up. But we have this thing that we now call false ambition. That's people will talk in terms of success. They'll talk in terms of, I mean, I say essentially what they think that you want to hear, or how they want to be perceived. But when you look at their actions and their behaviors, it's actually a lot different. I mean, you see it in the recruitment industry a lot. You probably see it with your consultants if you employ consultants. They'll tell you what they want to achieve X, they want to hit certain targets. But if you actually monitor their activity, I mean, the only difference between a top performing consultant and somebody who perhaps doesn't perform so well is the activity. And the reason the top performers are wanting to do that the reason top performers do that activity, whatever it is because they're more committed to achieving whatever it is they want to achieve.
Yeah. So I just want you to think about that. And your whys, by the way, and one of the things that we encourage you to do is to write a list of and answer this question. Once you achieve your goal, here's the question. What will that give you that you don't believe you have now? I'm going to type this in, actually. What will achieving your goal give you that you don't believe you have now? So you answer that question. What will achieving this goal give me that I don't believe I have now? And you'll say security. So the next question is, so why is that important? Now, this is when it gets really personal. And you write all this down, because then you're going to write down your real why. And I then say, so when you answer that question, I say, so why is that important? Now it gets really personal. And what's called chunking down to what's really important to you. Now, Pierre, Pierre won't mind. I spoke to Pierre only yesterday. And he's got I think he's got one son at college. He's got another one about to go to college. I suspect one of Pierre's why will be about the funding of his son going through college. I'd guess that's going to be important to him. I spoke to Neil a bit earlier on today, and what Neil's just said, which is quite interesting, he said he may have lost track of what his why is. And and that's, don't beat yourself up, by the way, Neil. A lot of people have never, ever done this exercise before. But it will so pay dividends when you know what your why is. Why do you want to achieve this goal? What will it give you that you don't believe you have now? And you answer that question. And why is that important? And you answer that question. And Piers just made a good point. Some people are interested and some are committed. And I think, again, Drew, you'll correct me. I think it's Dan Kenny that talks about this. When you have bacon and eggs, the pig's committed to it. The egg isn't, the chicken isn't so much. And you're absolutely right. It's that absolute utter commitment. And what we all do, and I want to be clear here, all of us, and in fact, Drew and I, probably 10 minutes before we got into this call, we were talking about some of the things we do in terms of what's called self-sabotage. You sabotage your own success. So Drew, we have a mastermind group, and we met up with some guys, and there's one guy that I would say his first name's Martin, and he shares something with us that's not uncommon. He will get his billings to about £40,000, which is about $60,000 a month. And he said whenever he gets to there or thereabouts, anything between 38,000 and 45, they take his foot off the pedal. And he said he had 1 month when he billed, I think it was 39,000 by the first week of the month, and he took his foot off the pedal. Because what we do is, some of us do, is we go, whew, done it. Bills are paid, costs are covered, happy days. That's a form of self-sabotage. Spending endless hours on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, doing nothing are forms of self-sabotage. Intellectually, you know what you're doing isn't serving you. You'll justify it in the conversation you're having. Yeah, but I just want to see what's going on Facebook, or I'm just going to surf the net to find out about, I don't know, whatever. And before you know it, an hour's gone. That's self-sabotage. Where in your life right now do you think you're self-sabotaging? Because you really need to be aware of when that's going on. Anything to add to that, Drew?
No, again, I think you covered that really well.
Excellent. So, for many people, they do this business, and they want this success because they do it because they want to. Part of it is avoiding doing things that they don't want to do. So on a purely personal level, I'm a lousy person to employ. I don't take orders very well. So one of the reasons I work for myself is because I don't respond too well to people telling me what to do. On a purely personal level, I want control of my own destiny. Many, many years ago, I've shared with many of you, I used to work for FedEx, and completely out of the blue, they made 7,000 of us redundant, just like that. And I remember thinking, this isn't fair. I know, I've done a really good job here, and through no fault of mine, I'm now going to be made redundant. And I remember thinking, I don't want to be in that situation where I've got no control over my own destiny. And that's not uncommon for a lot of people. A lot of people don't want to be the slave to money. They want to break free. They want that freedom. They want that choice. Because having that kind of wealth, you're going to have more freedom. You're going to have more choice. But here's the thing. Being wealthy is a choice. In fact, your business success is your choice. You will simply be as successful as you choose to be. You can't be any more or any less successful than you choose to be. The fees that you're charging right now, the fees that you choose to charge. Now, you'll argue, well, my market's different and they will only pay X, Y, Z. Well, I would really challenge you then. I'd encourage you to challenge yourself on that. But it's not the market, it's the fees that you're agreeing to take.
And even if it is the market, you choose the market.
Great point.
You can pick a different market.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I hope you're kind of getting now what we say when this is all about the psychology. It's just about the thinking. Now, one of the common ones, again, I'm sure Michelle won't mind. I remember talking to Michelle it's probably 2-3 months ago. She's talking about some of the challenges with some of the clients she's working with and the fees that they wanted to pay. And we had a really good heart-to-heart about it. But you don't have to work with those clients. You don't have to say yes to everybody. It's kind of good sometimes to say to a client, yeah, I know you want to pay me 10% for this, but I actually happen to think I'm worth a lot more than that, so I'm going to decline working with you. And that's actually liberating when you can do that. So let's go into the sort of the key things, the key thinking, the psychology of the big achievers. The first one, I go on about this every day of the week, probably, with everyone I talk to. Key achievers, they take action. See, every day, Drew and I, we get probably 3 or 4 emails a day from people saying, oh, I've just watched your video, I've just read your book, I've just listened to one of your podcasts, I'm one of your biggest students. And I always think, do you know what? That doesn't, if people think I take that as a compliment, I don't. Being a good student is not going to bring you success. Having all the knowledge in the world is not going to bring you success. I'd much rather get an email from somebody saying, I read your book, I only read half of it, got half a dozen things from it, but this is what I did. These were the action steps that I took. Because I know that individual is going to get some results. I know what's not going to work. See, top billers, top achievers simply take action. They implement what's shared with them. Because until you take action, nothing's going to happen. Drew?
Yeah, and I think there's almost 2 parts to success, 2 parts to improving the results you're getting. First thing to be aware of, whatever results that you're getting in your business currently is because of what you've done in the past. So whatever you've done in the past, whatever actions you've taken or haven't taken have led you to this point. So if you want to get better results in the future, then you need to change your actions going forward. So you need to do different things. So one of the things that you need to constantly be doing throughout your sort of entrepreneurial journey is learning new skills, improving your marketing, improving your sales, improving every element of business growth. But the second point is that Terry's sort of touched on here is that you need to, as well as learning, you need to actually implement what you've learned. You need to actually put into practice. So on these calls, in Terry's books, anywhere else you're learning from Terry or people similar to Terry, it's one thing attending these calls, but you need to be actually implementing what you learn, what you take from these calls into your business if you want to get the results.
Yeah. So please, at the end of this, as you're listening to this, and I'm getting some great feedback, and thanks for that, and I'm glad you're enjoying it, but nothing will happen unless you put some of this in place. Nothing will happen until you sit down and be absolutely precise about what you want to achieve over the next, and just do a 12-week goal, by the way. Just only work on 12 weeks. Say, today is whatever it is today. Where do I want to be 12 weeks from now? What's the action steps that I have to take? And then implement those action steps. How many decision makers do I need to speak between now and the end of 12 weeks? So if I speak to that number of decision makers, I would achieve my goal. How many candidates do I need to speak to? How many candidates do I need to market out? What marketing campaigns, how many leads do I need to generate for each, if you've got consultants, for each of my fee earners in the business? But nothing will happen unless you take action. So please, anybody that knows me, I'm constantly saying, just take action, take action. So number 1 is taking action. Number 2 is what we call continuity. Now, if you're a perm recruiter, and let's say you've got 2 or 3 other fee earners, great. And these 2 or 3 other fee earners are billing for you on a regular and consistent basis, great. But one of the challenges with the perm market, for want of a better word, is that you're only as good as the billings from the previous months. After that month's gone, that's it. And the real top billers and the real successful guys in the industry, they acknowledge that and they go for what we call continuity. So they will look at the interim perm contract market, because that market gives you that security, because you kind of know the first of each month you've got XYZ coming in. That gives you security. That gives you loyalty. It gives you peace of mind. See, one of the things with perm recruiters, and let's say you've got a real good perm recruiter and that perm recruiter is doing $250 for you a year, sterling every year. That's fantastic. The challenge with that, if that good guy leaves you tomorrow, they're going to take a lot of that business with them. And put it bluntly, you're stuffed. If you're a contract interim person, that recruiter, that consultant leaves you, they're not going to take that business with them. It's a lot more difficult. One of the beauties that Drew and I are big fans of continuity. I'm going to say something now that sounds counterintuitive, but kind of trust me on this. It allows you to fail. See, I wish I could say to you, every single piece of marketing, as an example, is going to work 100% of the time. It's not. But if you've got continuity income coming in, you can say, I'm going to test this, and I'm okay if this fails. So one of the things, it didn't fail as it happened, but one of the things that we did just after the Brexit vote in the UK, one of the things that we did the next, probably 3 days later, is we did a direct mail campaign to our target market. So we spent money on postage because we were aware there's a lot of uncertainty in the market, and we yielded some good results. But we were okay to do that, and we were okay to fail. We just didn't know. We just thought, now's a good time to do direct mail. Most, if not majority of our competitors won't. By the way, most of your competitors will not do direct mail. I know I'm digressing. It was a great time to do something and say, we're okay to fail on this. As it happened, it didn't fail. But continuity gives that breathing space to fail if you've got that regular income coming in. But if you open your doors on the first of the month, you've got no income coming in, you can appreciate there's that reluctance there to do anything that may fail. Drew?
Yeah, I mean, just to add to that, again, one of my views on continuity, just to add to what you said about allows you to fail, it removes, having sort of a solid continuity income, it removes that element of desperation that you may have in your marketing and sales approach. And what I mean by that is, if you know, sort of as Terry said, at the first of the month, you've got a certain amount coming in guaranteed. When you're approaching new clients, when you're negotiating deals, whatever it is, because you've got that security to fall back on, you're negotiating from a position of power rather than a position of weakness, because you know that actually you can afford to walk away from business, you can afford for this not to go 100% to plan, you can afford to turn this business away because you don't need it. And when you don't need it and you approach sort of any negotiation you have with more freedom, then your sales automatically increase. Again, in the same way, if you've ever been there where you're desperate for the next sale, you're desperate for the next client, it almost seems so much more difficult to get there because, I mean, clients sense that desperation. And a lot of the time it's repelling as well. But when you approach things with that freedom, again, this is one of the things that continuity gives you, which is, why I'm a big fan.
Yeah. And Ed, I'm just going to answer a question for Ed. I think you're asking a question, staffing / contractors ? So this is non-perm positions. I do apologise, Ed. I know you're based in America, and I'm not sure what the correct term is, and I'm sitting here. So these are non-perm positions. This is where you put somebody in for a short-term contract, maybe a week, it may be a month, it may be 6 months, it may be a year. Carrie, Pierre, if you can just help me out on this in terms of what the correct terminology is for that, just to answer Ed's question there on the definition of when I say contract, perm, interim management. If you could just kind of help me out on that would be appreciated. Thanks for that, Drew. Excellent. The next one is they know their LTV. Now, when you say LTV to a lot of recruiters and search firm owners, they think it's some exotic skin disease. Your LTV is your lifetime value of a client. Most being 95%, 99% of the clients that we work with, when they get a new client, and let's do it purely on the perm side, just for this conversation, and let's say they win a retainer, and let's say the final fee is 20,000. In most cases, they will get more business from that client over the lifetime of that relationship.
You're listening to the Renegade Recruiter Unleashed podcast. For show notes, additional resources, and podcast updates, head over to www.therenegaderecruiter.com.
So let's say let's give an example. You do some pay-per-click ads on LinkedIn, as an example, and you spend, let's say, £2,000 or dollars on a LinkedIn pay-per-click ad, and you get 50 leads. Now, small-time recruiters and search firm owners go, "Are you kidding me? 2,000? That's a lot of money." Top achievers go, "I've got an investment mindset. I've spent 2,000. I've got 50 leads. If I only convert one of those 50 leads into a retained assignment at 20,000, the question, again, it's a question I've asked many times. And Drew gave an example, I think, in a conference that we went to, whereby the presenter called a person up on stage and he said to them, in fact, tell what, Drew, you tell the story, because you tell it much better about when Chris gave that example of the £20 and the return on investment.
Yeah, so basically what Terry's saying is that you need to have sort of a long-term view on the value of each and every client that you acquire. And the way this was described to me that made it sink in was that we was at a conference and a marketing conference, and the presenter sort of asked the audience, has anyone here got, so it's in the UK, has anyone here got a £20 note? A few people put their hands up, and he called one of the people that put their hands up onto the stage. And he took the £20 note off the guy and then handed him back £100 in cash. And then he sort of turned to the audience and said, if for every £20 or $20, it doesn't matter what currency it is, if for every £20 I gave you, so every £20 you gave me, I was willing to give you £100 back, when would you stop giving me money? And of course, the smart answer is you wouldn't. Obviously, you'd keep giving the £20 and getting £100 return because you're making a profit. And that's the same way you need to look at your business, and especially the marketing and sales element of your business. A mistake that a lot of recruitment and search firm owners make is they only look at the short-term value of a new client. So let's say each sale or each assignment is worth to you £20,000, or again, the number's sort of irrelevant. You look at how much the first sale is worth to you rather than how much it's going to be worth to you over the next 5 years or 10 years. So what you need to be aware of is the long-term value of a client. So if you look at your sort of total business revenue over the last 3 years or year if you're fairly new in business, and look at how many clients you've had over that period, you'll be able to get a better understanding of the lifetime value of each client. And it'll be probably a lot higher than sort of what the value of an initial sale is. What that number gives you, it gives you, I guess, more room, more flexibility with your marketing and business growth. So rather than looking at things in a sense that each sale is worth to me £5,000, so I can only spend £1,000 on marketing and sales, and then I'll make 4,000 profits. If actually you knew, each sale's worth to me £5,000, but every time I get a brand new customer, they probably buy from me 4 times over the course of the year. So actually they're worth to me £20,000. You've then got more room flexibility to invest in your marketing. So it's about having a long-term mindset about the way you approach your business growth rather than a short-term mindset. Terry, does that make sense?
Yeah, but well put, yeah. So what you're looking to do is you're continuously, I'm going to say this very slowly, you're continuously looking to buy customers at a profit. Because I gave the example there of LinkedIn pay-per-click, it could be direct mail, and you're gonna make an investment to get some leads in. You're going to convert some of those leads into a client, and then over the lifetime of that relationship, that client's going to engage you a number of times. So let's say you do a direct mail campaign, so you spend 5,000 of your currency on a direct mail campaign, and you've sent a letter, let's say, to 10,000 potential clients. And if you only got one piece of business, and over the lifetime that client spends with you, 20, 30, 40, 50, that's a fantastic return. So top guys just get their head around that, and they don't see it as, oh crikey, I've got to spend some money here. They see it as an investment. They think, as Drew said, very well put there, Drew. They think long term, not short term. So the action step here is to go and look at your client, go and look at the lifetime value of your client, because that'll give you some idea how much it's worth you investing to buy a client. But if you don't know that number, it's a really difficult question to answer. The next one is obsession. Now, top guys, they've got this absolute obsession with achieving their goal. But however, when you say to a lot of people, so-and-so's obsessed, there is almost this negative connotation to anybody that's obsessed rather with achieving. But everything that we're seeing, the top guys have this absolute obsession about achieving. They won't stop until they achieve. They realize that achieving goals takes massive, massive action. And think about it, it kind of makes sense, really. If it was easy to achieve your goal, then everybody would do it. Now, I'm not knocking people that work in stacking shelves or work in McDonald's or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. But you wouldn't have people working there if it was easy, because everybody would just go, well, this is dead easy. I'll do it to be really successful. The fact that it's not easy, so most people, 80%, won't do it. A very small percentage go, to hell with this, whatever it takes. I'm going to be absolutely obsessed about this. Have you got any examples that you can give us of how that bears out, so to speak, of that kind of obsession?
Yeah, again, it relates back to what you were saying earlier about the difference between interest and commitment. You can give numerous examples from outside or inside the business world. If you think about somebody who is obsessed with their health, for example, and you can get two people who, let's say you've got two people who are sort of 40 years old and have the exact same body shape, and then they both decide at the same time they're overweight and they decide actually going to get fit. You can have one person who is obsessed and they buy all the training gear, they're joining to the gym, they're doing all these events to really make sure they're eating healthily, to really make sure that they achieve that goal. And you get somebody else who perhaps buys a copy of Men's Health magazine and doesn't really do much else with it. So, there's a very big difference there in their activity, their mindset, their beliefs. Again, the way it relates directly to your business, is think of it in terms of this, right? The key thing that's going to impact the future growth of your business is really an obsession with marketing and sales, your obsession with your ability to attract clients into your business. Now, of course, there are other elements of business that are important, but really, if we're talking about growth here, it really comes down to one, either getting more clients or getting paid more from the clients that you have. So in our business, we'll come across different types of recruitment and search firm owners. You'll get perhaps one person who'll just buy a copy of Terry's book, or one copy of Terry's book, for example, read it, get something from it, maybe try one thing that's in the book, or even worse, not even try anything. Then you get someone else who's completely obsessed, and they'll buy every copy of the book, they'll join the marketing academy, they'll join Terry's elite group, but they're really obsessed with getting that improvement. And it's just, if you look at the successful people, and again, I gave two examples there, but you can really get this in any area of life, right? There's people that are sort of just interested, in people that are really committed. Achieving what it is you want to achieve, right? I'm assuming that it's I guess far away, or it's going to take some effort to get there from where you are now. If you want to make sure that you achieve it, you're going to need some form of obsession there. You need to treat it like the guy who is obsessed with getting into shape and joining all the gyms. You need to be like that with your marketing, sales, and with optimization as well, and improving really every element of your business. Terry, does that make sense?
Yeah, it's relevant. I think the analogy you gave there with the obsession with getting fit is a great analogy, because we all know people like that. I've got a very dear friend, and I'd go to say, when it comes to fitness, he is absolutely obsessed. And he does an hour and 40, 6 days a week. That's it. But hey, by the way, he looks fantastic. But he does an hour and 40 minutes of exercise every day. 6 days a week. But he's totally obsessed. Now, here's a question for you. What would your business look like if you had that same obsessive attitude to achieving your goals? And you said, whatever it takes, I'm going to get whatever I plan to do today. I'm going to get it done today. What difference? How different would your business look? But here's the thing, seriously, guys, for you to achieve what you want to achieve, you are going to have to be obsessive about it. I wish I could say, oh yeah, well, there's an easy way. Obsessed with your marketing, obsessed with your sales, obsessed with your whole operation inside and how you're operating, and obsessed with what we call optimization. So when you go on a sales call, what percentage of those sales calls, whether it's a sales call or a telephone call, are you actually converting? When you generate leads, how many of the leads are you actually generating? Are you converting? When the client's going through the process, what's your delivery rate? But you should be absolutely obsessed with everything. And I think the other thing with this as well, when you get obsessed with it, you then know your numbers, and it means that you can make informed decisions. Only this morning I had a conversation with a client, and his goal for the next 12 weeks, interestingly, it's a bit of a theme here, but his goal for the next 12 weeks, I think it was something like, so I do apologize. I think he said £125,000 over the next 12 weeks. He wants to build over the next 12 weeks. He then broke down how many business development meetings he has to have. He knows exactly. He knows all his numbers. His conversion rate, by the way, is 18.4%. How many people are like that and say, I convert 18.4% of all business development meetings that I have? He's got those numbers. He's obsessed. And you kind of, as you talk to him, you think, you're going to be thereabouts in achieving what you want to achieve, because he knows all his numbers. So he's obsessed about it. He knows what has to be done, and he just gets on and does it. So absolute obsession. The next one is one of my favorites, in as much that what it is, it's time. Top billers, top achievers just manage their time. The reason I like it so much is that the thing with time that I love is that time doesn't discriminate, regardless of your gender, your age, where you're based. We all have the same amount of time. I can't tell you the amount of times that clients say to me, Terry, I didn't have time to do the objectives or the action steps that I had to take. They didn't have time, or they didn't make time. Because top billers just know there's a radically different way of it, and they use different time differently to anybody else. One of the things I understand is what we call the 80-20 principle. And I've talked about it on numerous occasions. Drew, can you give me some examples of the 80-20 principle and how it applies to the top achievers?
Yeah, I mean, but basically, put in simple terms, what the 80-20 principle means is that 80% of your results, or the results in any given activity, any given situation, come from just 20% of the activity. So some examples of that would be, if you look at your house and the floorings in your house, you probably walk on sort of 20% of that floor and 80% of the time, usually the hallways. You probably wear 20% of the clothes in your wardrobe 80% of the time. When you put it to your business right now, no matter what results you get in your business right now, 80% of the results you're getting currently come from just 20% of the activities. So when we talk in terms of utilizing the 80-20 principle and making better use of your time, what we're saying is, essentially what that means, if only 20% of the results only 20% of your activity leads to 80% of the results, that effectively means that 80% of your time is going to waste. So what we're basically saying is, spend more time doing the 20% of activities that get you the best results. Some examples of this may be, and again, it'd be different in every business, but so for example, are you answering the phones in your business? Are you doing the invoicing? Are you getting distracted by things like that Terry mentioned earlier, Facebook, LinkedIn, things like that? So there's activity that can be distracted and doesn't give you the best results, and yet there's activity that will give you the maximum results. So attending sales meetings, meeting with clients, actually delivering on the work, marketing. Like, these are things that if you look at the top performers and you look at how they schedule their day, how they plan their day, they spend more time doing these key activities. So again, me and Terry will often speak to recruitment and search firm owners who are, perhaps doing it okay. So, sort of in the six-figure range, but they want to grow. And one of the excuses that they give, or one of the things that they'll say, is that they haven't got time to spend on the marketing. They haven't got time to do X, Y, Z. Well, if you look at what they're saying is, if you look at their business, if someone says they haven't got time, as Terry said before, time doesn't discriminate. All it means is that they're not being precious, or they're misusing their time. Because you can get people who have a higher profit and higher revenue businesses who have the time to do the marketing still. And again, it's about, where are you spending your time right now? Is it the most effective use of time? One thing that that I think it's a big mistake that a lot of recruitment search firm owners make is when they're trying to grow their business, is there is this obsession with hiring consultants to, the dream is that they'll sort of bring on all the revenue for you. But a mistake that, in my view, you'll often see is that you'll see recruitment and search firm owners, they'll hire a new consultant before they hire someone to answer the phone, before they hire someone to do the paperwork. And what happens is they end up hiring this consultant and they spend all this time training this consultant. It means their revenue drops because they haven't got time to bill. So for me, it's like always spend your time doing the highest revenue generating tasks. Terry, does that make sense?
Yeah, that's well put. Yeah, but use your time where you get the best results. And there's so many things you can do. One thing I'd encourage you to do is to block out time to do for every activity and put it in your calendar. And I would encourage you to block out time to waste time. Because I look, honestly, hand on heart, I don't think you can work at full pelt for 8 hours a day, all day. I just don't think. So if you think, actually, you know what, I want to spend 5, 10, 15 minutes on Facebook, block out the time to do it then. Because what it does is when you're tempted to do it outside that time, you kind of go, no, it's okay, I'll do this later. I've got some time when I can block out time to what I call faff around on Facebook. Or whether it is for you, but we've all got distractions. I have to say that I can get distracted on LinkedIn. I get caught up in stuff in discussions, and before I know it, previously I'd lose 30, 40 minutes on LinkedIn. But if you allow for it, your emails, you don't have to have your emails on all day. Block out times when you will answer emails. Most of the emails you get are not that important, not urgent. Apart from the emails you get from me, of course. But seriously, most of the emails you can do without. And you don't have to answer there and then. And a lot of people are doing this now. So a lot of people you send an email to and they say, thanks for your email. The way that I operate now, I want to give my clients the maximum amount of my time. So I will only answer emails between 11 and 12 and 3 and 4. And you get an automatic reply. Another thing is a lot of recruitment and search firm owners, in their signature in their emails, they will have their mobile number. Now, whenever I see that, there's an individual that's got a job rather than the business. Let me explain. When you've got a business, it's not reliant on your billings. When you've got a job, you've got a bill to earn. So if I'm going to use one of the biggest supermarkets in the UK is a supermarket called Tesco's. And if you wrote to the MD of Tesco's to ask him or her about whatever, and they responded, they probably wouldn't respond. Their PA would probably respond. Do you really think they would sign off with their mobile number at the bottom so you can give them a call because the box of cornflakes you bought weren't in particularly good order? But if you went to your corner shop and made that same complaint, there's a very good chance that corner shop owner would give you their personal contact details. Now, some recruiters say, yeah, but I want clients and candidates to get to me at any time. The moment you do that, you're not managing your time. It's your time. And if you start giving everybody your mobile number, you're going to get phone calls and get interrupted by everybody because you've given them permission to do that. Get really precious about your time. Really, really precious on that. So the key thing is it's just really managing your time. Outsource what you can. Automate what you can. And Drew made a really good point there. If you're thinking of bringing in a consultant as an example, but you're spending, let's say, I talked to a guy the other day, and he spends a day a month doing this tax. Why the hell would he do that? I said, I'll tell you, I'd like to get it right. I said, I'm not being funny here, Bradley, but you're probably not the best person to even do this. If you gave it to a bookkeeper, to your accountant, they'd probably do it in a couple of hours. And you're spending the whole day doing it. That's a very poor use of your time. The next one is speed. I have a great saying, money loves speed. You want to get, when you're at college, you want to get the date. You hang around too long, you're going to miss out on that date. If you want to get the latest iPhone, you hang around, you're probably going to be too late. So here's what we know. To achieve what you want to achieve, there's certain things that you're going to have to do, period. Now, you can make a decision to do that in 6 weeks, 6 months, or 10 years. That's down to you. But the quicker you do what needs to be done, the quicker you're going to get the return. Now, for many owners and directors of recruitment business, they say, yeah, I'm going to do this marketing campaign. I'm just getting my ebook together, and they will do that then for another week, 10 days. A waste of time. As an example, 80% of the people that request your ebook are never going to read it anyway. Just get it out there. And before you say, yeah, but it's got to be right, it's got to be perfect, I'm going to say that's BS. It doesn't have to be perfect. Good is good enough. So bear that in mind. There's things that you're going to have to do, but you make the decision when you do them. You can do, I said, you can do them in 10 years. You can do them in 5 years. Or you can say, to hell with this. I want to get this done in the next 6 months. I'd recommend that, by the way. Money loves speed. You don't see a client, and they say, yeah, send me a proposal. And you go away and say, yeah, I'll send you that proposal next year. Are you kidding me? See, you know at some level, I'll get this proposal to this client as quickly as possible. Why would I wait 24 hours, 2 days, 2 weeks, why the hell would you do that? And the way that we're brought up in school is to do things simultaneously rather than over sequential. So you do this, do that. That's what we're taught. Do that step, do that step. So again, clients often say to me, yeah, I'm going to join you, Terry, once I get my database sorted out and I get this sorted out. And I say, are you kidding me? Just join us down, just take action to get this stuff done. And my favorite one around speed, create chaos and be okay with that. Because here's why. The moment you create chaos, it means that you can what we call fail quickly. As I said before, not every single campaign you're going to do is going to work perfectly. Life isn't like that. I always think, by the way, when you do these campaigns and they don't work quite how you wanted them, somebody's saying, this is a test, just to see how serious you are. Because if you're not serious, you're going to go, oh, this isn't working. Start whinging and moaning, and you can say, right, I know that one doesn't work. Let's try something else. But you've got to be comfortable to fail quickly. Clients say to me, I don't know if this is going to work. And I say, no, do I. So let's just do it and see what happens. Do it now, fail quickly. By the same token, you can also win quickly as well. I was telling Drew, to a very dear friend, I've known him for years, and he's doing some stuff. He generated 48 leads by the end of last month. And when I spoke to him today, he still hadn't followed up with them yet. He said, I want them to get all my emails. And I said, Jerry, are you kidding me? Just get out to them now and talk to these guys now. Stun them with speed. Money loves speed. Can you think of any other examples there in terms of speed and how that can impact on your success, Drew?
Yeah, I mean, there's endless, really. It basically relates back to what you said right in the beginning about taking action. Yes, taking action is important, but again, the quicker you do it, the better the results you're going to get. I think it's a good point that you raised there about, I mean, we mentioned it a couple of times, but not everything that you do in business is going to work. The problem with doing things sequentially, which is sort of how we've been taught, let's say you've got a 12-month goal, and to reach your goal, there's 12 steps you need to take, and you decide that you're going to do one of those steps every single month. So January, you're going to do step one, February, you're going to do step two, and so on. The problem is, a lot of the time with business growth, not all of those things will work. So let's say out of those 12 things, only two of them are going to work really, really well. That are going to get you the end result. The danger is if you do it sequentially, you perhaps won't get to those two things until months, 10 and 11, for example. Whereas if you just said, okay, there's 12 things I need to do. So in January, I'm going to do all 12. We get to the ones that work quicker, which means you probably get better results than you expected because you're doing them for a longer period. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Really good point. Yeah. Don't hang around, please. Again, I'll repeat it. Stun them with speed. You've discovered stuff now as you listen to this. Go and do something with it. Just go and do something with it now. The next one is beliefs. What we found, look, whatever you believe, you probably know this at an intellectual level, whatever you believe is true. So if you believe, as many clients tell us, marketing won't work in my market because my market's different, if you believe that, it's true. But here's a problem with that. If you believe that, then you're going to behave accordingly and you're never going to do any marketing. And I often say, when people say, well, I don't believe that's going to work, I say, it doesn't matter what you believe. Let's test it and see what works. Because the moment you start your marketing, I've got some bad news for you. You're going to get some criticism. Some clients may complain. Some candidates may complain. Sure, eggs are eggs. Some of your competitors aren't going to like the fact that you're raising your head above the parapet. They're not going to like that. Some of them will badmouth you. Top billers are immune to criticism. If Drew and I were to stop marketing the moment we got criticism, well, we just wouldn't market. People will complain about. We've had complaints about the fact that I do most of my videos. I never wear a tie. I've had numerous complaints about me not wearing a tie. I've had numerous complaints about typos in my emails. I couldn't give two shits, quite frankly. Their opinion is their opinion. It makes no difference to me whatsoever. See, all that matters is the response I get in terms of the bottom line. All that should matter to you is what's in your bank account from the marketing. So you've done a typo. Get over it. And you don't need to have this belief that you're doing this for the recognition. But here's something that is really important in terms of beliefs. And I touched on it earlier, and I want to touch on it again. See, top achievers believe they deserve to be wealthy. Now, think about that for a minute. What would your business look like if you believe you deserve to be wealthy? Top billers also have this attitude. I was talking to another guy a few days ago, a guy called Plowman, and he said, it's my duty to sell my search services to my clients because I add to their bottom line. See, that's one of his beliefs. Some people say, I'm uncomfortable selling. I always think, well, how's that going to serve you? What other examples can you give in terms, Drew, in terms of beliefs?
It's just everything. It's just whatever your beliefs control your actions. So it's someone's belief. Like we said right at the beginning, the difference between sort of the top performing recruitment search managers, the ones that continue to grow, the ones that continue to kick on, compared to those that struggle or plateau, are their beliefs. So if you believe different things, you act accordingly. You act and behave differently. So whatever it is you want to achieve, whatever your goals are, you need to make sure that your own personal beliefs are in line with that. There are a lot of people that don't actually believe that they don't believe they deserve to be wealthy, for example, and they perhaps don't even realize consciously. I mean, let me ask you a question here, and obviously you don't have to answer sort of out loud, but is it okay with you to be rich? And again, depending on what your background is, there would have been a subconscious response there. So I know some people, perhaps who grew up in religious backgrounds, who perhaps taught that money is the root to all evil, or perhaps you've been taught that people with money are greedy. So there's a lot of, in our society, there can be anyway, a lot of negative connotations to wealth. Right? We're taught things as kids that aren't necessarily true. So, and again, this isn't about what's right or wrong, but it's just, are your beliefs, and by the way, you can change these. So if I ask that question, you answer no, you can change these. It's about being aware of what your beliefs are so you can work at them. Terry, does that make sense?
Yeah. And that's a really good question there. And, as Drew asked that question, in fact, just ask that question again, Drew, just about...
Yeah, is it okay with you to be wealthy? Is it okay with you to be successful?
And is that resonates with you as you answered that? And I know you haven't answered it loud, but something would have come in. You would have responded, to yourself on something. If there was any little doubt at all, that's getting in your way. Because if at some level you don't think it's okay, well, guess what's going to happen to you? And it's just, can you see how that one belief there, is it okay for you to be wealthy? And how you answer that. So again, it's about taking action. And again, I had a couple of conversations over the last few days about this in as much that I often ask that question to clients, and there's that hesitancy. Well, I guess so. And look, if you've got any doubt about it, and if you've got a family, and again, Drew touched on this earlier, you may say, actually, I'm kind of uncomfortable with this, but being healthy, wealthy and healthy, but I want this for my family. And it's important for my family that I achieve what it is I want to achieve. Because strangely enough, what we tend to do is we will have negative beliefs about ourselves, but less so about our loved ones, which if you think about it, doesn't make sense. I won't go into all that now. It's a whole new another conversation. So, and we also tend to be quite hard on ourselves as well. Some of the negative conversations we have with ourselves, which again, none of that serves us in any way whatsoever. So if there was any discomfort there, go and work at that and say, actually, my family deserve this.
Yeah, and just to add as well, Terry, even those of you who heard that and thought that you maybe thought consciously there was no discomfort there, and you are completely okay with it. Again, I'll just challenge that, because I mean, Terry, you told a story about earlier about I can't remember the name, but the client who got to a certain point in terms of revenue, and then he found himself taking his foot off the pedal.
Oh wait, Martin, yeah.
That's an example of your belief. So he didn't. His belief wasn't that he deserved to be poor by any means. It wasn't that extreme, but it was a case of when he reached a certain figure, that's what he thought he was worth. So if you find in your business or in your personal life, whatever it is, that you get to a certain point, revenue-wise, fitness-wise, a certain point in your relationships, wherever it is, you get to that point and you almost self-sabotage. So you take your foot off the pedal, or let's say it's a relationship, you don't respond to texts, you don't respond to emails as quickly as you used to. There's lots of different things that we do that go on subconsciously. The actions that we take, which are an indication of the beliefs that we have. So again, the very core of this all is really your beliefs and being aware of what they are. And if they're not in line with your goal, then working on them as well, like I guess more so than the actions you take, because your beliefs affect the actions that you take.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know this is kind of different to a lot of stuff where we give you like, do this and then for your marketing. But in my humble opinion, your thinking is more important than anything else. Because with what I call stinking thinking, if you've got stinking thinking, you're going to have stinking behavior, what we call stinking behavior. But with the right sort of thinking and psychology, you're going to take action, and you're going to keep taking action. You're going to have a well-defined goal. You're going to look at creating some sort of continuity income. You're going to do things like know the lifetime value, so you're going to know how much to invest into your marketing. You're going to make better use of your time. You're going to get really precious about your time. You're not going to let clients and candidates waste your time. You're going to do things with speed. You're going to stand up with speed, all because of the beliefs you have. Because whatever you believe is true. So if you can believe you can do this, it's absolutely true. If you believe you can't do this, that's also true as well. Drew, I really appreciated your input and your insight. Very, very much appreciated.
It's okay.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. This is Terry Edwards and Drew Edwards, Renegade Recruiter. Take care and be relentless. Go and take action, and I'll speak to you real soon. See you guys. Bye.
Thanks for listening. If you want help implementing any of the ideas we shared in this podcast, head over to terryedwards.com/apply and book a call. Speak to one of our team and see how we can help. That's terryedwards.com/apply. Speak to you soon. Take care, take action, and be relentless.